Shalom, shalom. This is Brother Amon from the Great Millstone Camp here in Philadelphia, giving our praises and due honor to Yahweh Shem Shah, Bashem Rakakadash. Also giving double honors to the other apostles and bishops at Great Millstone. And shalom to the hopeful elect. So I'm going to title this video, Where Are the Slaves If the Gentile Heathens Can Be Saved? And I'm, making this video in response to a guy from I guess, of the GOCC. He paid a visit to the other apostles or whatever. He had a dialogue with him, and he was basically saying that Cornelius was a Gentile, and that's what prompted me to, do a response video. And that's why I said, where are the slaves if the Gentile heathens can be saved, right? Because if you go into the scriptures, you will read that. Let's get it right now. And if Cornelius, that's another topic I'm gonna do later. If Cornelius was a Gentile, what nation was he? What nation was motherfucking Cornelius if he was a heathen Gentile of the other nations outside of Israel? Man, let me get this first too, man. Explain this first. It says Revelation 11:1, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. That's Israel. Okay, the Israelites. God's chosen people, specifically the elect. But the court which is without the temple, then you gotta go into history. There was a temple for the heathen, which is without the temple, leave out, right? You go into this word, leave out, I might get the NLT. This is not even on my scripture list. I just had to get this. It says, leave out, ek bello. Okay, you gotta click on that. It says to cast out, drive out, to send out, with notion of violence. Okay? And if you know the scriptures, the heathen nations, especially Edom, like it said, thus with violence, so that great city Babylon be thrown down. Hold on. And the Lord said in Obadiah, right? It's a lot going here, but with notion of violence, right? For the heathen nations, that's so-called, it says Edom will be humble. Was Cornelius an Edomite? Because even in Esau's, or the so-called white man's text, Esau cannot be saved, according to Esau himself. So why you think Cornelius was a goddamn heathen? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. When you got Jakes in the military today, like the Lord said, there is nothing new under the sun, man. You guys are not prophets and you're not spiritual, man. Okay? And you're not diligent. And first of all, the Lord ain't, if you teaching that, the Lord didn't choose you at all. Okay? If you teaching Cornelius is a goddamn heathen, man, that's blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. The Gentiles in the New Testament were all Israelites, man. Okay? That Paul went to, the other apostles preached to, they were Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. Okay? But this topic is dealing with, if the Gentiles can be saved, where are the slaves? Okay, because it talks about the you know the next world or the world to come, the kingdom of heaven, that there will be servants. If the heathen can be saved, who are going to play and how they going to be saved? I mean, there's so much into that. But anyway, who are going to play the role of the servants, man? If the heathen can be saved, okay. What are they? What are the heathens if they're saved in the kingdom of heaven? What will be their role? Who would play the part of the servants of Israel? Because it talks about, and the Lord said Himself that He also is going to have servants. Who's going to play that role if the Gentiles can be saved? It doesn't make any type of sense. Okay, like the Lord said, He's not the author of confusion, man. But let's get this. It's the day of the Lord in the future. Obadiah 1:15. It says, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all," which the day of the Lord is judgment. Okay, is near, which is punishment, calamities, miseries, etc., death, destruction. It says it's near upon all the heathen, right? That I mean, like, what? How do you get around that? This is the future. Again, Esau put this there. The day of the Lord in the future. So what is this talking about? For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. Again, judgment. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. What have they done? They have done harm to the people of God, man. And also, they broke the laws as well. But mainly, they put their hands on the nation of Israel. So it shall be done unto them. We were put in captivity. They will be put in captivity. Retribution. Okay? Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So they will be judged with the same punishment of servitude or slavery, man. Like, again, like, we're going to get into the scriptures, man. The heathen nations that will not be saved, and it's a physical deliverance, man. They don't even talk about that. It says the remnant of Israel first and foremost. Okay, it don't talk about no goddamn the Gentiles or the heathen nations. And then, which are these heathen? Why aren't they named? They're not named because they're not going to be delivered. The Israelites, the so-called Gentiles in the New Testament are Israelite foreigners, man. Okay? That's it. That's it and that's all, man. That's it. And it's not talking about those people that claim to be, Jews today. They're Edomites. The prophecies doesn't fit them being the Israelites. Okay, it fits them being the Edomites today. Anyway, it says, thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy, you can get Joel 3, upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, which is what? Is the punishment that we receive, man, but it's going to be much harsh. You can't even imagine that because we still in captivity to this day, man. The heathen, even though Esau gonna have the worst, but the heathen, the other nations, they're gonna be in the kingdom of heaven, so they still gonna be good, even though their punishment is gonna be horrific, But after 1,000 years, when Esau is stubble, it tells you in the same chapter, everybody gonna be good, man. Okay. But once this first wave of captivity is enforced, man, it's going to be bad. Okay, and that's the 2/3 is trying to save Esau mainly. They're not concerned with the other nations. They're only concerned with Edom. Like I said earlier, like what nation of people was Cornelius? What was his nation? If he was a Gentile, what was his nation, man? If he was an actual heathen, Cornelius was an Israelite, okay? And you still, it's so crazy. It's 2027, you can say. People still are teaching Cornelius was a heathen Gentile. Like, that is mind-boggling, Very mind-boggling, very disturbing. But anyway, it says, yea, they shall drink continually. It's talking about, captivity and servitude and punishment and calamities and miseries and basically judgment for the other nations. And they shall swallow down. Just like we had to go into captivity, they got to go into captivity. Okay, again, retribution and payback. This is actually in the Bible, but they don't want to teach this. They don't want to teach, like I said, who are going to be the servants, man? They don't teach this in the churches, man, that the Lord said that there will be slaves in the kingdom of heaven. They don't teach this. Or servants. Okay? And you can get that in the book of Leviticus 25, and I think it's 44, 45, 44, 45th verse, where it tells you that the Israelites can have the heathen as servants. Okay? The Lord made us a special people. The Most High said, Yahweh Shema Shah said that this world was created for our sakes. And that we were kings and priests. And the king has servants. Our servants are not going to be of our nation. Our servants are going to be of the heathen nations. Okay? That's why it says leave out when I read Revelation 11, because they're not going to be saved. And you can follow that with, I think, Jeremiah 46 in the last couple verses. The heathen are not going to be delivered. They're going to be destroyed. And the rest of them are going to be servants. And then, they're going to be in the kingdom of heaven. They're going to be happy. And it's telling you, when the righteous beareth authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Our people, 2/3, they don't have a ruling class mentality, man. And they don't study, man. They don't read the script. They weren't chosen. It's clear as day they weren't chosen to be the prophets, man, to be the men of the Lord. If they were, they wouldn't be teaching that Cornelius is a heathen. It's very asinine. But anyway, and I might as well read this. It says, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Okay, so the greatness of the heathen, when the kingdom of heaven is established, even before that, when they destroyed, they're going to be reduced to nothing. Okay, that's why it says that nations shall not learn war anymore, man. They're not going to be, in that warlike spirit anymore, man. They're going to be servants again. Okay, and we're going to have that power. The nation Israel going to have that power. It's going to be impossible, literally impossible for them to, fight against us. When we're going to have spiritual power, man, we're going to have the Lord on our side for eternity. Okay? When the Lord wasn't on our side, the heathen, no matter how strong we were, they were able to take us down because the Most High exists. Okay? And we basically disobeyed him, and the Lord allowed the heathen to take us down. But in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be totally invulnerable and invincible. Okay, so the heathen shall be as though they had not. They're going to be servants. Okay, they're not going to have these industries and this fame that they have now. Okay, they're going to be servants again. And it says upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. I mean, I might as well just end it right there, man. It ain't say that the other nations or the Gentile heathens. And again, it didn't list the other nations' nationality. It says Mount Zion, which represents the nation of Israel, shall be deliverance. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. I mean, that's another precept right there. Hold on, let me see what that's saying in the NLT. Hold on, I got the desktop version. Hold on, I forgot. It should be down here, but I don't see it. Sorry, it's not allowing me to do it. Okay, there we go. All right, NLT. This is Obadiah 1:16. Just as you swallowed up my people on my holy mountain, so you and the surrounding nations will swallow the punishment, leave out, again, with notion of violence, the punishment I pour out on you. Yes, all you nations will drink and stagger and disappear from history. Okay, so it ain't gonna be, again, all of the great so-called deeds of the heathen is gonna be disappear from history. Okay, they're gonna go back to being who they were meant to be, servants. But again, it says the people shall rejoice, man. We in a world that's upside down, man. Okay, we are in a goddamn, what they call that? Well, an anachronism. That's one word. What is when they corrupt the timeline? I forget what it's called, but that's what happened. We in a corrupted timeline right now. Okay, we in a timeline where it shouldn't be what it is today. We in a timeline where the evil are ruling the earth, man. Just like the Lord said, man, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. But in the kingdom of heaven, when it's established through Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the Most High's Son, Yahweh Shah, it's going to be a righteous, holy kingdom. It says what? Wait, what it say? Then there shall be holiness. Okay? Holiness. Because the Lord is going to establish his kingdom on earth. And it says, verse 17 in NLT, but Jerusalem will become a refuge for those who escape. It will be a holy place, and the people of Israel, and the people of Israel will come back to reclaim. That's the Gentiles, man. We Gentiles right now. Okay? First of all, we call ourselves Israelites because we woke up. But guess what? We still Gentiles in America, wherever we are, because they don't call us Israelites, man. They call us black, African American, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, all that bullshit, man. So we're Gentiles today, but we're going to reclaim our inheritance that we were discontinued from. That's how we were discontinued from our heritage. We became heathen. Again, these guys do not study the scriptures, man. They don't know history of their own kind, of their own people. They don't understand how we became heathens, man. And they don't, like the scriptures say, there is nothing new under the sun. All right, so let me jump to this. Isaiah 14, and I'm going to go to the point. Let me just read this. This is an NLT. But the Lord will have mercy Again, this is the future. We in this timeline now. We in this time period now. We are at the end. And again, this is the future. And this is happening now. We're gathering together through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah through his word. Okay? That's why we out there on the highways and byways as the Lord commanded us to do. To compel them. All right? And it's all about the elect, man. That's why even Paul said, for the elect's sake, man, I endure all things. The elect comes from the nation of Israel, man. That's it. There is no other nations or gentiles, man. That's all fucking baloney, man. Bullshit and fluff. Lies. But anyway, it says, but the Lord will have mercy on the descendants of Jacob. Like, just close the book. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about? If this is, again, this is a future prophecy. That's why you got guys out there, they don't deal with the Old Testament, because the Old Testament is also prophetic, man. The Lord said himself, the spirit of Yahweh Shah is the spirit of prophecy. The whole book, he said he comes in the volume of the whole book, man. It is written of him. Okay? And it says right here, the Lord will have mercy. It didn't say on everybody. The whole world and every inhabitant, the animals, everything, the sea, the sun and the moon. It said that the Lord will have mercy on the descendants of Jacob. He will choose Israel as his special people once again. All right. So like, come on, man. Like, again, this is spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah, but this is too easy. Too easy, man. But again, they don't deal with the scriptures. They deal with emotion and psychobabble and bullshit. Okay, they're not going to deal with the scriptures, man. Again, I don't have to read no more. And this is in the NLT version. That says the same thing as the KJV, but with extra emphasis. He will choose Israel as his special people once again, as before. This is scripture as before. I'll get that probably later, but yes, again, the case closed. Old and New Testament is about the nation of Israel. Okay, just like they said, the Lord sprang out of the tribe of Judah. He ain't spring out of fucking the Edomites, because the Edomites not gonna be saved, man. That's the only people they care about. But guess what? Israel was scattered amongst all nations, man. That's why it tells you what Isaiah 11 about. All over the Bible, but it tells us about Israel being scattered, basically throughout the world, man. Throughout, at that time, the known world, But fast forward through the whole earth, then you got 12 tribes you got to deal with, man. That was over here on this side of the world, in America, in the northern hemisphere, in the North Country, North and South. It says he will bring them back to settle once again in their own land, and people from different nations will come and join them there and unite with the people of Israel. Okay? And we all know it says the strangers will join them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. We know that's the Israelite foreigners. And the nations, like it tells you, if you don't worship, the God of Israel, you're going to be destroyed. The other nations, the other people, they're not going to receive the inheritance. The kingdom of heaven, the promises. Okay, the service of God, they weren't going to have that. It wasn't designed for them. Okay? Verse 2 says, the nations of the world will help the people of Israel to return And it talks about that. What? Let me get that real quick. I might have to put in shoulders. The future glory for Jerusalem. This is the helping the nation these how the nations want to help us by giving us their resources and being our servants. Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. You see? For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. And it says, mercy on who? The descendants of Israel. And it says, therefore, thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men, who? The heathens, may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. I just quoted this one, Isaiah 60, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. The glory, it's like those nations shall be utterly wasted. Okay? I'm going to jump down to 14. It says, the sons, oh man, NLT looking crazy. It says, the sons also of them that afflicted thee, number one, Esau, Edom, then the other nations, they all had a hand in our punishment, man, in our degradation, in our destruction, okay? In our persecution and our oppression. They hate us, okay? You can see countless of videos of the heathen nations mocking us, okay, hating us or vilifying us or treating us bad, just like they exposed it with the Chinese or whoever, Moab, Ammon, how they got these dolls, these black dolls, which they call them stress dolls, which they be beating the shit out of them. And then all these nations, they got like like they language or certain words in their languages or their music, they be saying the word nigger. They be sneakily saying the word nigger in their language or in their music, etc. It's so much, man. Okay, the heathen, they have to pay, man. Okay? Though they hide their hands behind their back, they still got a rock in their hand. Okay? They have to pay. And the 2/3 of Jake, they can't even fathom that. That's why the Lord is going to get rid of you, man. That's it. It's all about the remnant of Israel. The 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed horrifically. Okay? Horrifically. And they're going to have to come back in the kingdom of heaven. And it's going to, obviously, our people are the sand of the sea. When that day come, when the Lord is here, the ones that don't want to get right, like the Lord said in 19 and 27 in Luke, bring them hither and slay them before me. It's going to be, man, it's going to be a beautiful time, man. Okay, it ain't going to be up for no damn debates, man. We ain't going to go into the scriptures telling you the Lord is a so-called black man from a tribe of Judah. If you don't want to get it, guess what? Off with your head, man. That's what the Lord said. Okay, like it says, bring them hither and slay them before me. You don't want to get right. We won't be in a time where it's too damn late. We're getting to it. Okay, we're getting to the famine of the word. Okay, we get into a time of heavy judgment, man, where the Most High is going to allow this so-called white man to wreak havoc and run wild on our people, man. If you've been paying attention, Judah is being lynched. Even Ephraim, they had a case where it was an Ephraimite, or a Northern Kingdom Hispanic, whatever, so-called, that was lynched. Okay? The niggers of our people, they gotta go, man. And the Most High is going to use the so-called white man that our people love so goddamn much to put a foot up the ass, man, like never before. Okay, it says all the days that have happened on earth from the flood till now. Okay, even the first day on earth, man, it's not going to compare to what the Lord has in store for this earth, man. Especially the 2/3 of our nation. Especially. Okay, you people want to realize how precious, and we also, how precious this truth is, man. Okay, because, man, the Lord is going to insanely afflict our people, man. Hitherto undreamt of. You know, but our people want to play around talking about some goddamn Cornelius is a Gentile. You might be judged for that, man. Because you teaching, especially if you teaching, you know, the charagma is Christianity or something else, or sleeping with white women, you know, you're going to have to be judged for that, man. But we're dealing with the topic of the heathen being servants. And it says the sons also that afflicted them, that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. And if you're bending unto someone, you obviously are in obeisance or servitude or servant. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee, they're not going to call us niggers or spics or black or African American, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, or wetback, etc., man. The bywords that we've been called, or the false, names that we were called, identities we were called. It says, they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Okay? It says a lot more, but we're going to stop right there. But yeah, man, I mean, like, that's only a few scriptures, man. I didn't even get to the main bulk of my list, man. Okay? That's the crazy part. So I'm going to just do a part 2 to this. Where we at in time? All right, I'm going to just do a part 2 to this. I'm going to stop right there. Hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time I say shalom.